One, two, test.
Yo, happy Sunday, everybody. Happy holidays. One, two. Because they upcoming and they fastly approaching.
Yes,
Listen, every Sunday from 6 to 8, we do this thing where we welcome you to Northwest Austin Council. So thank you all for being in attendance. As usual, we have various ways that you can interact with the show. We got the Facebook, we got the YouTube, and we have the Zoom. If you're on the Facebook and the YouTube, I need you to go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because when you comment, especially, that's when you get to interact with the show. We get to see the comments live. We get to bring them into the show live, and then we can even bring you into the show live if that's what you want to do via StreamYard, and you can ask for that link if you want to talk to us directly. Otherwise, you can always just interact in any way that you feel possible, especially on the Zoom if you like using Zoom because you're more comfortable with that. We do have a setup for that. We can see you. We can barely see the comments, so if you do have something to say you on Zoom, please just say it, because this conversation is West Side people talking West Side things, and we all from the West Side, I believe. So that being said, typically how we like to start this thing is by saying, Steve, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
I'm feeling in the festive mood. Getting ready for the holiday. We got Thanksgiving coming up, everybody, and I want to wish everybody now a happy Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
We don't see you all. This year's been moving. It's been a fast-moving year. Who would
Very
ever
much
believe
so.
We're already at the end of it almost. But we still got a lot to do. We got quite a bit to do.
Absolutely. So what's going on, man? What the hood talking about?
First and foremost.
Something? Can I say something?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Jump in.
Okay. Because I got to go to another Zoom meeting at 6:30.
No problem.
Yes, sir.
And I want to be that we talk about Kyle Rittenhouse, the white boy who they let go up in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The reason they let him, these people are trying to start a war.
Start a war with who?
Would go rioting, and then they can come in and wipe us out. That's my opinion. That's what I think.
I was telling Barry just this past weekend that I'm finna go get me a nice little arsenal. I told him, listen, I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. Listen, man, I'm from that cloth. You feel me? I'm from that cloth. I can't see. Barry got this thing where he talk about the Republicans becoming fascists, and they gonna take over and overthrow the government, and they gonna turn this thing into Nazi Germany. They got another thing coming. They need to listen. Kyle Rittenhouse know not to bring his ass to the West Side. He know not to come to Austin. All these people, Proud Boys, maybe not Antifa. And that's a whole different discussion. But some of these, they know not to come their ass to the West Side, though. They know where it's popping at, man. So my thing be like, we can't fear, number one, and we got to get prepared, right? I think the biggest thing that we forget about is that we are at war, right? And sometimes that be mentally, that be spiritually, that be physically, that be emotionally. Like this is warfare that these people practice. They've been doing this since they've been around, and the ones that get the memo late be us. You know what I mean? So we gotta program ourselves the right way. If we're gonna be going to war, we gotta go to war.
Well, okay. My thing is,
hey Sam, what's up?
Who's making this declaration?
For real, yeah.
That's the thing. Who's making the declaration? Because it's too many people, too many directions, too many issues. And we got right here issues in our own community that we need to address. I do get the outside sources and issues, but
my question is, why is black people so up in arms about the verdict? Because if he was a black man, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, what's
That's right.
Well, we kind of know that.
Yeah, but that's nothing new though.
Yeah, we kind of know that one. Hello.
My bad, I ain't got you on the screen.
Yeah, no, that's all good. We're good. We here. Go ahead, expound a little more on that.
Yeah, break that down though, for real. Like, open up on that. Is the reason we upset because we knew the verdict was gonna go how it went, and because he's a white man, or because where you get the idea that they trying to start a race war?
Well, like there's a documentary, Spies of Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Netflix, crime, stuff in Mississippi. They talk about how the white people really know about everything that's happening because they make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like with Rittenhouse, I mean, people saw a murderer be set free. Now, some people will be upset over that. And I think the powers that be want people to be upset so that they can bring other Kyle Rittenhouses out. That's who they're recruiting now, the young white supremacists. That's what I think. But say for two, before it go too far, it don't mean nothing because there is a God, and vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. The court will let him go, but God won't. He got to pay for what he did.
Mm.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
So do you subscribe to the notion that everything that is happening is purposeful? Like you said, like there are people that are controlling. So that, like, for instance, so and I've delved a little bit into the conspiracy theory realm where they say like there are like maybe 6 or so bloodlines that really rule the world. These elitists, and they do all these things, and in some respects, a lot of them subscribe to black magic. And so is that where we going with this? We on that type of time?
Well, I believe all of that too.
Okay.
Right.
So how do we protect ourselves then? That's the question.
Man. Now that's it. That's kind of how do we protect ourselves? I mean,
I think
it's everywhere.
I think we need to be organized.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
One thing I know for sure, there are more and more people reaching out to be attached to the right things because they see different things going on that are not right. And it always seems to be leaders. And with every leader, there's at least a minimum of 5 people that follow. Minimum. We just need to know how to harness that energy and bring these people together through organizing.
We got to give these people something to do, man. We got to train them up.
Right.
We got to coach them up. Like, you got to imbue something into these people that's going to keep them coming back, too. I think a lot of us, we're looking to learn, too, And so I think the more you can feed us in terms of knowledge and give us something to gravitate towards and then give us action, then I think we could really have the organization that we're looking for. I just don't think at the moment. But there's so many problems and so many things that pull people in different directions, right? This is like, Tiny, I know outside of this, one of the things that you speak about is climate change, which is a huge problem that's affecting us all, right? And so, but how many people, especially from the West Side, care that much about climate change or even Black Chicago, let's say? And I'm gonna give you an example. I had a meeting in the 4th district just the other day, and one of the members that was on that call was saying that she heard on the news that there is this young lady from the mayor's office, Hispanic lady, that wants to plant trees over on the South Side in the community in order to help stave off climate change. The lady was like, I guess it's hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars that's going to be allocated to this effort. But the lady was upset, saying there's other issues in the community. That traffic is a problem. Obviously, other safety issues in terms of the shootings and the carjackings and everything else. She said, I don't care about no damn trees being planted. What about all these other issues, right? So, and I'm saying that as an example to say we have so many different issues that something like climate change, for example, may not even get looked at under the microscope that it needs to be looked at because other people, that may not be their interest. So how do we build around this idea of creating organization for people that have so many different challenges in their lives?
How do we amalgamize?
Well, I think everybody should work on what they think is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
We don't all have to do the same thing. If they can think of something else, solve the problem, let them do it. That's how I feel about it. We all have to work on the same thing, but climate change. We all have to work on climate change because it affects all of us. And anybody who look at the news, seeing how the weather is it's really extreme now. It's
Yeah.
affecting everybody. You know?
Yeah, it is. And
But I think all of it affects everybody, doesn't it? Whatever
Yeah.
happens in the community affects everybody. One problem is not as more important than the other. And you say everybody should work on something. Well, we have to all come together at some point. That's
Yeah,
the
right,
problem now. We're
right.
all in silos.
Right. It's too much one-off. Everybody's like at some point, I think black people got to come together and say, like legit. What's my man Nate Jackson used to say? What's in it for the black people? I'm sorry, man. We got to come together at some point and just be like, what one thing can we all agree on that we need to fix around here? For real, like at some point.
yeah. Say again.
So Sam said the issues are related to one another. Crime is related to poverty, which is related to education, and the environment is connected to all of that. The challenge for leaders is to explain that.
Yeah. That's a big mouthful. That's a big mouthful, Sam. But I hear what you're saying. It's all intertwined and linked. But the key is, I always thought it started from the root, and the root that I know of is grassroots. When I say grassroots, I'm saying right here where we stay and lay is where we should start.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it gets out as much as the climate, as large as the climate, we need to start with the organizing in our blocks, in our community, in our wards, on our sides of the town, and so forth and so on. That's the only way we can move towards the bigger issues. Because I get you, Tiny. Everybody should work on what they can work on, but I mean, the pyramids would have never been built if everybody worked on what they wanted to work on. They had to be designated to a certain areas to build first. Now, if that's what you mean, as long as we're working on the same end game, that might be.
Right.
Oh, okay, I got you. I thought it was like, separate game plan. But what you got to say, Miss June? What do you think? You there?
Did you say June?
Yes, indeed.
Well, I agree we all need to work on the same thing. I know we all need to work on what we consider what the need. And that can be done like at a 20 or 30%. Everybody needs to jump in 100% on one particular thing to make that go away or to be better.
Can I be honest?
If you keep splitting up, you'll never get the big job done. So the decision has to be made by all of what's going to be the number one project. And you could always work on the other project.
Could I be
at the same time.
Absolutely? Can I be honest? I think the number one project, and I think it's apropos for the time that we living in, and it's coming and it's rapidly approaching. I think we need to figure out. Listen, I've been saying this for the longest. We don't understand politics, and I've said this, that the way we're supposed to do politics is we are supposed to draft an agenda, and we take our agenda to the people in political positions to make it happen for us. The thing is, we never go to these individuals that's running for state rep, alderman, congressman, and whomever else you want to put into the bag and tell them what we want. We allow them to come to us and tell us what they're going to do for us. We then don't hold them to that standard that they set in those meetings when we sat with them and heard them out, and then we voted and put them in them positions. So personally, one of the things that I would like to see done is we actually come together in a planning meeting and figure out how to come up with 10 items that we want to see fixed, that we know can be fixed by our political figures, because what we do know is that legislation governs life, policy governs life, and our lives are affected directly by the policy that's created, and none of the policy that stands today is helping the Black community raise itself from the position it's in. So I think personally, the first thing that we can start to do is figure out what 10 items do we want them to address as a whole, and tell them, if you are going to get our vote, you're going to make sure at least the top 3 are done by your end of your first term, and then we'll give you another term, and then we hold them to that. And if they don't do it, they get out. And I think we got it. That's how we got it. That's how we're gonna show our power. Black people consistently are the lowest voting people, period. I don't know if you believe in voting, you may or may not, but what I do realize about voting is those people that's up north that's getting something, they get something because they vote. The people that they put in office know that they have a job because those people gave it to them. When it comes to the Black community, they have a job because we don't give a damn, period. So at some point, we got to start giving a damn.
We get a turkey.
Yeah, we get a turkey. Oh, man, we get a turkey. You're right. We get a turkey. It's a lot of turkeys being handed out. So I know a lot of people are feeling good. So I know a lot of people that earn their votes because they done handed out a turkey, man. And if your vote is worth only a turkey, then that's a problem. Period. Yeah. That's a problem. We got Sauce Pack. Sauce Pack going to come in.
I agree we need to get an agenda together for them, but this goes back to the very same thing you opened up with. It's not that we don't go to them. We do go to them. I can attest to that. But this block go as a block club, then the next block go as a block club, then you got coalition going to them. We're coming to them from different directions, and they don't see us as one. They need to see us as one, like the gentleman said.
Absolutely.
Because that's where the power is.
Absolutely.
Can I say hello? This is Miss Jada.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Miss J. What up?
Can you hear me?
Yes, indeed. We can hear you loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Your TV, I think your TV's on.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm saying I've been raising to speak and DeAndre about the lady that is going about children at the schools. We need to adopt a school, get started by adopting a school and start out like that about the truant, about the young people if you're not in school.
Miss J, your TV is up, I think.
So I said that we need to get together on that and that'll start.
Miss Jacobs, you got your TV on?
Hey, hello guys.
Somebody has some background.
Hello.
Yeah.
No, you want to mute everybody.
All right, yeah, I got to mute everybody. Hold tight, y'all.
Yeah, we're gonna mute everybody, and then you just pop back on when you wanna tap in. But we got Sauce Pack Mac on the show. Sauce Pack, what up, man?
What's up, man? I ain't been on in a while. What's up?
We can't hear you. Well, we see you talking, but we can't hear you. You might gotta turn your volume up. I don't know what's. Oh, hold on, Sauce Pack.
Hello?
That's on me.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, Sauce.
Hello.
Yeah.
All right. No, so I look at and I see y'all talking about community organization, and it's funny because behind Steve, the gentleman Steve, it says community organizing since 1972. So it's like, what are you guys doing to organize the community? Since you're on here talking about community organizing, do you guys have a plan to organize the community?
That's a good question, Sauce Pack. What you say, Steve?
The plan is what we put into effect a summer ago, which was the 40 blocks, to amalgamize the 40 blocks through leadership. And the leadership would amalgamize each block themselves. And so far, I don't know if you, go ahead.
So you said it's about a summer ago. So I'm assuming You said 2019, 2018, you guys started something?
2020, we started a new campaign called 40 Blocks in the Movement, where we actually went out door to door, reached about 1,200 properties and homes, maybe about 300 some odd people, surveyed about almost as many, and built what, 27, 28 leaders out of those blocks?
24.
24?
Found 24 leaders.
24 leaders.
Surveyed 228 people.
There you go.
And went to like 1,500 properties.
Yep.
So what was the results? I mean, did y'all get anything organized from it? Because if you're talking about organization, I don't know. It seems like you guys should be handling the organization, or at least the podcast should maybe be talking about what are you guys organizing, and instead it seems like you're just asking other people, well, what can they do, or are you asking us, what can we do?
Yeah, I think that was the next question. I think for everybody that is listening, that's saying that organization is what we need and we need to come together. That's the next question, because when it comes to organizing, it's all about what is the next man, what can the next man do, or are they willing to do in order to be organized? You know what I'm saying? Everybody has a particular role, a task, and showing up matters, right? And so, are you willing or able to show up? Who's gonna take some notes? Who's gonna call some people? Who's gonna knock some doors? Who's gonna walk out in the streets if it's time to protest? Who's gonna show up at the news when it's time to hold?
But you guys said you got 24 leaders. What happened to the
No.
24
Well,
leaders?
listen, so this the deal. Let me bust down this 40 block thing. So when we went through the 40 blocks, we did find 24 individuals willing to be leaders, right? The thing is, you still got to raise up those leaders and show them exactly what we trying to get accomplished. And so we started doing that through doing community leadership trainings with those individuals to get them in the space where they understood what the whole 40 blocks meant, what it meant to be a caring, communicating, and connected neighbor, so that we could ultimately have some positive outcomes. But the thing was, I'll say this, we neglected to follow up in the entirety of that of those individuals, because just like we saying now, we did find 24 people. That didn't mean 24 people was willing to be leaders. That also meant that we should have followed up with the next tier of people, which we didn't. We didn't do well with doing that at all. You know what I'm saying? And so that falls on us.
You guys aren't organizing the community then.
Yeah, well, we do block club development, so to speak, right? Where we bring people together.
Mean?
Huh?
What does so to speak mean? Either you guys are organizing the community or you're not.
We are. This is
okay. So I guess my question to you guys is, what are you going to do to bring these people along to start? I mean, to make a dedicated change. I mean, we're on a podcast. Oh, the NAC has done a lot. This show, organizing block clubs, working the underrun TCJK by real estate speaks at community events. Yeah, but these are two. The guy Sam Day, I see what he's saying, but he's telling me about two people, and you're telling me that you need a community. So does Sam Day do anything for the Northwest Austin Council that he can put his accolades up?
Well, no, he works with Nobel Neighbors, so he's a partner organization that we work with. So we do a lot of coalescing with other organizations and programs and things like that. I will say this though, the organizing piece is absolutely something that we need to concentrate a lot more on. We haven't done the best job of the organization efforts, and I think most of it is because as I just said, we coalesce with a lot of groups. Right. So we spend a lot of time doing a lot of other things with other groups rather than focusing on the mission of Northwest Austin Council, if I have to be frank. So
do they help you? Do they help? Did Sam Day come knock on doors with you?
We haven't asked him. We haven't asked.
Why not? Why not?
Because we haven't gotten our own stuff together.
Wait, can I jump in?
Oh, please. This is Melonius.
Melonius, aka Mosaic Monk Melonius. You know, see, I think my thing with, and I kind of agree with, I'm not sure, I can't see the name, but
Sauce Pack Mac.
okay, bet. And I feel like, see, the problem with black organizations is like they don't got any money. You know what I'm saying? They don't got any money. So it's like, yeah, you might do little things, and a block club might be cool for the summer, that week, that moment, and everybody was good that moment and knew each other and was in brotherly love in that moment. But you feel me? Like it needs to be money and businesses coming to these situations. You know, we that's what we need. I think we got to get out of the marching mentality, doing small things. Like, white people do big things. I got to keep it 100. They do big things. So I think we got to start thinking big, thinking a little bit bigger. You know what I'm saying? So we can have a better footprint of, hey, I did this. You feel me? You could point to Emma Mitz, like you said, oh, she brought a Walmart. That's a big thing that the community is gonna remember. But now no one's really gonna remember like a 40 block. It might be a big thing, but it's on a grand scheme, macro or the micro. Black communities need to start doing bigger things.
It could work, but these guys are saying that they didn't follow up. So you can't have a community organization that don't want to get the community to buy into the organization part. And then if you got these listeners who's coming on this show every week, I don't understand why it's not, instead of telling them what we should be doing, asking them, when are you going to do it with me? Aren't you a part of this community? Aren't you black? Don't you want to see a change? When are we going to get out here and start making a difference? Everybody's on this thing talking about, oh, well, if you do this and if you do this, well, why we not on here talking about let's get it done? I don't understand that.
Especially with all the connections to the man. Willie Wilson gave out $1 million. Come on, man. Let's get it.
If you heard DeAndre earlier, there's so many people reaching out in so many different directions. We can't focus on one issue. What is the number one issue? I thought it was crime and safety, from what our survey said, but obviously it's not. We gotta kind of amalgamize what we want as an issue before we can even move forward. Now that, true enough, like I said, with the survey, it stated crime and safety is the biggest number one issue in the 40 blocks. But then in the meanwhile, and we had 10 shootings and 5 deaths in 40 blocks. It's like, where y'all at? Where are you?
And y'all got to understand, a lot of people say a lot of things. And and Steve been doing this a lot longer than I have. I've been doing this maybe 6-7 years. And there's a lot of individuals that they talk very good, but then when it really come down to it, man, they may not pop up like they said they would, so I
see Chantel Franklin. She said we need to join. Amen to that, Miss Chantel Franklin. We need as many people as we can get to come down to Northwest Austin Council and get the banging on doors and banging on trash cans with a loudspeaker saying the time is now. Absolutely. Are we going to continue? We're going to wait till 2025?
All right, so we need you, Sauce Pack. We need you, number one. You need to come on down here, brother.
How much y'all paying?
And hey, that go back to what Mosaic said.
Money. Hey, listen.
That's why I said it.
My whole thing is, I think it's futile. I think it's futile to work on safety and crime when that's the police's job. That's the police job to protect and serve and fight crime. Because most people don't. I'm not walking up to no gang members. We know where the crime at. We know exactly where the crime at. Matter of fact, we got them in our family members. They in the midst of all of us. We know how to fight and solve crime, but
Oh me.
that's the police's job. I think what we need to start doing is focus on getting the community some money. When somebody go to Northwest Austin Council, and I'm like, look, man, I'm a black guy who live in the neighborhood, and y'all got some things going on. How about you employ your brother to come pick up this trash? That's what needs to come happen. Motherfucking people,
Well, look, before y'all
people
jump,
need money.
yeah. Hey, if you on a Zoom, please jump in the conversation. You know what I mean? We don't want to. Hey, this is community. Let's talk about it. Community,
Right.
jump in. If you on a Zoom, what's up? Y'all done heard a lot. What's up?
I just want to add to the conversation. It's, in my opinion, it is not only the police's job for safety. If we as community members know something is happening and we don't tell, then we're just as bad as the people who's doing the crime. The police are witnessing these crimes. Somebody has to come forward and say something. Yes, they're getting paid to serve and protect, but we have to also do our part. We all play a part in making our communities safer, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a joint effort.
Okay. Now that sister sound like she might be from the city. So if that's the case, if you in the city, you from the city, and if you from the inner city, you just seen people selling drugs, you ain't call no police on them.
Right here in Austin.
Okay, so then that means you should see people selling drugs every day, doing hand-to-hand transactions every day. And if you ain't calling the police on people doing hand-to-hand transactions, then yeah, you just as worse as the people selling it. Because we know where the drug spot's at. Ain't nobody calling the police. Hey, I seen them. Don't nobody do that. Hey, I just seen them selling drugs right on this corner.
I think a lot of people
hand to hand,
tired.
boom, boom, boom.
I think a lot of people have made those calls and they just got tired to the situation.
Yeah, but see, because you got to realize in our community, crime isn't.
Don't get tired.
But crime isn't being solved in our community, though. Despite the calls, despite the police showing up, despite the connections we may have, right? Like the clearance rate is so abysmal in black communities that some of these individuals who have been involved for years, 20, 10, 20, 30, haven't seen any changes. In fact, they could probably say it's gotten worse. They had wits end. Man, this shit don't work. You know, so some of them just turn away from
black
it.
Black people don't tell.
I mean,
black people do not tell. Black people mind their business and keep it going.
Say they mind
if it ain't got
business.
nothing to do with them, that's how our culture is, bro. We selfish like that.
With that, man.
White people will look out for their neighbor next door. Oh, I'm finna call the police. Black people be like, it ain't my house, it ain't my situation, and keep it going. We just as worse.
See, I saw them stealing your TV. I saw him stealing your TV. What did you call the police? No, I didn't.
Well, I'm gonna have to beg to differ in the 40 blocks. Because in the 40 blocks, I can almost say at least 38 of them blocks, people do tell.
So has crime went down in those blocks?
In the 38 blocks, crimes never went up. You know, it is what it is. But in 2 of those blocks, the crime has been off the chain, you know, and I do agree. It's those blocks that are afraid and ain't talking. You are right about that. You are absolutely right. But how do we change those 2 blocks? Or what is it? 2, 3, 2, 3.
I don't think you can change a block. You know, if that family been living there for years and they've been game making, they folk on the Hustler Vice Lord under the Black Diamond. Under the 5-point star, whatever style you wanted, the David star, whatever. You're not finna move them people out. You know what I'm saying? And then the police really can't discriminate against them if they don't see them doing something. So I just think it's just time to get some money into the community. Once we start getting money, I think money will change a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? It will curb a lot of the violence. Once we start getting money and businesses, and then other demographics started moving in, that'll change it.
Well, look, that's why I spoke on the politics side of it, right? Because as I said, policy governs life, right? We are dictated by legislation. So my whole thing is, one of the things that we could do right away is definitely change one of the things that we could do right away is definitely change who's in office and create an agenda so that we can move the way we want to move in our communities. I think I mean, look, I think that's what we got to do. We got somebody that's choosing to remain anonymous and say in. Look, you want the show though. If you got something to say, go ahead and tell us.
Come on.
I'm still saying about the truant officers at the school. Do you hear me, DeAndre?
I told you what they said about that truant officer scenario. They said that they don't need truant officers because they got computer systems and phone systems that handle that now.
See, this is what, I agree with DeAndre. See, we let them tell us. These are our children. This is our community. We need, like we saying, form and organize. This is what I think that we need to organize. We need to adopt a school, get started. And we get together, go to the school, tell the aldermen or whoever these politicians said, this is what we want.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's how we gotta be. But that's why I said we so used to looking at politics from a position of being just giving turkeys out, and I get the one-to-one. Listen, I wholeheartedly believe in quid pro quo in politics. Straight up, I do. I believe if you do something for somebody, they should do something in return. But my thing is, the way we work it in our communities is we do the one-to-one method. And that does no good for nobody but that one person. Right. And that's the problem. If we could figure out how we could quid pro quo for the community, okay, bet you do this for my community and I could do that for you, then we can make things happen. But until we put people in position that could really get us to where we could get this money. Somebody said, my question is, how do we get this money? Number one, we need better business skills. The only people that could really affect business in our community, again, the political figures, the people we put in position. They're the ones that's controlling the money that's coming through in the form of grants. Mosaic Monk say grants can get us money. Political people bring the grants in. The congressmen bring in federal funding. Your aldermen bring in the businesses. So my thing is, I feel personally, when we talking about the systems that affect us, I think the biggest system that is causing the most detriment in the black community is the black political system. And part of it is the fact that we just continue to put the same people in, time out. It's time for a change, man. Come on, man. What up?
Yeah, man. Thank you, everybody. But you know what? How you gonna change an older black person's thoughts on a person they've been voting for 20 years? They indebted to them people. Like, they owe them. Like you just said, hey, you believe in, you do something for me, I'm gonna do something for you. So that means I'm gonna vote for you for the next umpteen. Like, so again, I feel like the political realm, that's out the question. Politicians do not care about the little people. They do not care. They getting their money from the government. They living good. They got their ducats all in order. They don't care about somebody on Waller who got a problem with the game member of the. They don't care. If you ain't coming to these politicians with a great idea and some money, idea, that's it. That's it. So I mean, listen, you got the degrees. You got the degrees. You got the connection. I build the websites. You feel me? We know salesmen. If nobody can come behind us, they ain't gonna come behind nobody. Nobody put money behind us, black folks. They not gonna put no money behind nobody. So everybody who feels strong, hey, put some money behind some black brothers who know how to really build. I build websites. I build websites. DeAndre Rudis, he a double masters, summa cum laude. Don't nobody even know what that means, but it's good. It's good stuff. If ain't nobody put no money behind us, it's not happening, brother. For nobody.
So
or Steve too. And you too, Steve. Ain't nobody putting no money behind
Engineer,
Steve.
master
The
level
Northwest Austin Council, cause that's the only council I know. I don't know no other council.
Now look, so Ian, I see you in the show. Are you trying to jump in there or what? Are you on mute? But what's the word?
Ian ain't about that life, man.
So I just wonder,
Not about
with
that.
us even having these sorts of conversations about all of the things that's wrong, kind of how do we move forward? Because I agree with you, it is a lot of system based. We have some of our seniors that have been in these communities 20 plus years.
Facts.
So the politicians that they're voting for, they've been voting for them for 20 plus years, and they're voting for them off the strength of something they did for the community maybe 15 years ago, right? That person is real good, they doing everything that they supposed to do, or they're just not aware of what's happening. And I
Now,
do
right?
think that we have to put new people in office, but it's kind of like, how do we move on that? Because it's almost like we're running into challenges no matter which situation we in, right? It's like, okay, we try to get new people out there, then we don't have the money, we don't have the votes. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how do we activate the
Right,
community? And I think that's the missing piece, is like, how do we get people activated? People are kind of in their own lane, right?
right,
Minding their own business. I'm not going to go tell nobody nothing that's going on, because I don't need nothing impacting me and what I got going on right here, right? Somebody come after I've been in this community 20 years. I'm not about to go tell them what them people then did, and now they coming after me and my family. Like, these are real challenges that our communities are facing. And it's like, we have to step up and do something. But I think about you all, right? You all doing the 40 blocks. Like, you're only two people, right? So you are able to do what you can and follow up with who you can follow up with. But if you're being pulled in a direction where you're helping with the districts and the things they got going on, you're trying to make sure that you're locked in with the communities. You got your seniors that's calling about the different problems. You got your politicians that want to come to the meetings. You just are being pulled in every different direction. And, community is not based on one person or two people, so I want to see all of us get activated beyond, we understand that we need money, and it's like, okay, well, how do we get that? Because that's how we end up being slaves to the people that we have in office. Is, we trying to get the little monies that they have and the little resources, and then, if it benefit my business or if it benefit my area, this works out for me. If it doesn't, then y'all don't do nothing for me. It don't work, so it's almost like we're in these situations. And I just wonder, how do we activate the community to move beyond this, right? Because we're having a hard time even activating them. People are nervous, like they're nervous in their own communities, they're scared. And to even I want to wholeheartedly disagree with us that being the police's job. That's happening in our communities, and anybody that's a member of these communities, we have an obligation to be a part of this. You're there. And to completely remove yourself or to act like you don't have any part of, the solution, I would say that I completely disagree with that. So I want to see us get activated. We understand that there are many, many problems. And I agree with you, DeAndre, when we talking about everything that's happening with the politicians and kind of how those systems are in place. But we are not going to be able to sit and wait for anybody to come and give us some money. That's what we are right now, right? We're waiting for grants. We're wanting these things. Or we don't have access to them. You know what I'm saying? But I see Sam Day saying like relationships are important. That's important as well. And I do think that, most times we get turned off. We got to think a certain type of way or go with a certain type of party. Like they know that this is how we're going to vote. This is what we're going to do. We recognize these names.
That's a fact.
So I do think that we have to be empowered, man. And I just wonder, how can we brainstorm ways to get activated?
Well, let me say this. DeAndre brought up politics. And I honestly think the simplest and the easiest thing we can all do is just get somebody registered to vote and get at least, if you go to vote, take two more people with you. Get them registered and take them with. That's the simplest, easiest thing we can start with, because next year is the election push. And then let's start running for office. I mean, we know some good people out here. I know there's some good people out here. I definitely would vote for it, but we gotta be activated. And Monk, man, don't never count your vote out. Don't never count it out because you know what? The minute you count it out, they count one more for them. So always look at that as a possibility. Hey, it might not get what you want, but at least you pushed it through. And then you get enough, people behind you. I'm gonna tell you, when I ran for alderman, and one of the guys that I know, he was a real big political operative. He worked with all type of campaigns. I called on him and he said, Steve, before you run, I said, well, I'm already in the race. I need your help. He said, you got to look at numbers. This ain't about you being an alderman. This is about numbers. We need to get an army. And that was a guy named Butch Campbell. He's died a couple of years ago. But I've been thinking about that. I told Andre about that many times. And that's what it's about. We got to get numbers and be on the same plane with each other. And then we can really start making some moves. Because like you said, it is about money. In a lot of cases, it is about politics. It is about pushing the powers that be to do what they need to do, policing and so forth. But we ain't got no numbers because everybody want to stay, as Ms. Burton said, siloed out. And again, back to the Sauce Pack, when it comes to me and DeAndre, we support everybody. We help and support everybody. Now, those 40 block, people, individuals, I talk to at least 4 or 5 of them a day. They still in the loop, but we got to get them something to do. That's the key. And then indeed, they want something in return also. What we do with that? You do something, you get something.
Well, I want to say, I brought you back on, Sauce Pack, because I know you wanted to respond to NN. But before you speak, I just want to say, I want to actually answer one of the questions she had posed in the chat. She asked, how do we get this money? I want to talk about 2 ways that Black people can get this money that we often neglect. One of the things that I'm actually working on right now is trying to close the wealth gap in the food industry. And so I'm partnered up with an individual who has a company called Below the Line that is working to close what's called wealth gap. And we're trying to create an owner-operator model for people within that food packaging industry. The one thing that she's found, because that's her industry more than it is mine, is that the industrial equipment that makes all the hot dogs, all the bacon, all the hams, all the chickens and turkeys and ducks and everything else that we eat. Because as a consumer, Black people spend a shit ton of money in the restaurants and at grocery stores, but none of the equipment that passes through is in Black people's hands. So one of the things that we're working on is purchasing companies so that we can then flip the leadership and make it minority owned, thereby creating owner operators in our community that owns those industrial assets. So when we eat food, those conveyor belts belong to us. That's how we create money. We need to get in these spaces we not in. Right. The next space that we don't occupy is the pension space. Black people work for the federal government more than anybody. Goddamn it, go to UPS right now. Who you gonna see behind that teller station? You feel me? Go to any government agency, the post USPS, and go to any other government service and see all the Black people that work back there. But guess how much we own in pensions though? Not enough. Period. Zero. We need to be inside the federal pension money. Black-owned banks only account for $5.8 billion of assets. Guess how much we spend a year? $2.1 trillion. About to go to $2.4 trillion in the next 2 years. That is a problem. That's where the money at. That's why we don't have none. We spend too much. But if you tell me that Black people can make 2.1 trillion off 5.8 billion, then you telling me somebody lying in between when we say we ain't got no money. We got money. We don't spend it right. Period. So listen. When we talk about how we gonna get this money, all we got to do is start looking towards where we spending it at and where we not at, and go get a piece of that, and we gonna have some money.
Nah, but they gotta start donating to the right people. We can't be putting this money in the politicians' hands like that, bro.
Well, we're not talking about we're not talking about putting it, but we talking about when we go get some money. When we talking about how do we get some money, we listen. For all my black people listening, for everybody, we are in a time where people want to give us money for every fucking idea that we got. You hear me? Every idea that we have, somebody wants to fund it because they still feel bad for George Floyd. If we do not make some moves in the next 2 to 3 years, George Floyd will have died for nothing. So all we gotta do,
Oh no.
bro. Period. Look, these people
Yeah,
ain't. They
Yeah,
not
you
gonna
tripping.
I don't
try.
know.
Yeah, he
I don't
on
know
some
what
Martin
this.
Luther King shit.
All right, man.
You know what? You know
Y'all not
what?
hearing
You
me
know
though.
what,
Go ahead
man?
though. Go ahead though.
I can see.
Go ahead
I can
though.
see. I can see why DeAndre. I can see why DeAndre ran for public office. He says a whole lot of nothing while doing the same thing. Nothing. Listen, DeAndre. It's good to get me all rah-rahed up, but I still haven't heard what you plan to do. You said something about manufacturing equipment, bringing money in. If it's not happening now, I don't want to hear about what's going to happen. We need to talk about changes and things we can do now, which is why I said if you guys are in the business of community organization and you just had this sister on here speaking so eloquently, my next question before I start my diatribe to would have been, well, can we count on you, sister, when we need help to get out here? Because you sound like you care. You know, you spend more time talking than listening, and you got people who passionately want to help, and instead of saying, all right, let's get that name and number. And when we need it, we go, can we count on you? And before you get a confirmation, you just quickly move on to the next topic. And so to answer that woman's question, everything that she said, the way to do that is you create a group and says, this councilman, or this is this next leader, this is what they do. Here's 5 or 10 bullet points, and we all gonna choose to vote for this person. And again, that's called organization. The reason why black people don't got money and all these things, they're not organized. You just had I think his name is Melonius. I think you called him Melonius. He said he does things in the realm of building not computers, building websites. Well, that's tech. You know, do you guys at the Northwest Austin Council have a tech guy? You know, it makes it easier if you're creating this social space and you're able to reach people where they're at on their phone and things. You know, so it's like you guys have a good thing going, but it's like you're using archaic ways of trying to reach people.
Listen, I also
which is through talking.
To reply to you. Listen, as Ian said, this is passion driven work. So and I want to make sure that so Melonius did say that he has these capabilities. He also say he want to get paid for them. Now we not in the position right now where we could pay anybody though.
Hold on, wait a minute. I seen some big names on this show. Big names on this show. You will never be able to communicate. So, and I've heard some hefty amount of dollar amounts being driven around. Like I said, if they don't believe in black folk in the Austin area with master's degrees, tech knowledge, then it's like, who will qualify? And what I meant by donations is we need black people do spend a lot of money, and you said it's coming on $2.4 trillion. Man, the Northwest Austin Council, DeAndre, you all should have like some type of donation where everybody who came on this show, like, hey, can you donate? Are you gonna donate some money? Can you throw a little money? Here go the Cash App. Could you donate? Could you make a GoFundMe because we trying to boop out the bam? See, that's when it gets serious, and that's when the people who talking, they ain't gonna donate that
That's when
money.
behinds get
They
tight.
ain't gonna donate that
Behinds
money.
get tight then.
The people talking, they ain't gonna donate.
Listen. Well, look, we got Ian in the fold. We know exactly who Ian is. We want Soft Pack Matt and Melonius to come down to Northwest Austin Council and help us with our mission. We want y'all because both of y'all got a lot of answers and y'all have a lot of ideas that we support and we think will help us as we continue to try to grow. Again, we have in contact. We know.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you, DeAndre. I don't care about the community. I only come on because you asked me to. So I'm gonna be honest. I don't care enough about the community to even want to come and lend a hand. I don't care, and I'm just being totally honest. Black people haven't done anything for me. I don't care about black people in that sense. When they kill each other, it doesn't affect me. It just really doesn't because I've seen it. I grew up around it. I'm on here to support, but when I'm listening, I'm just not hearing anything that even make me want to say, "Oh, wow, what I'm supposed to care?" Because Kyle Rittenhouse got off. He got off because he was gonna get off, and the white people donated a ton of money just to help him get off. But again, when you talking about this Northwest Austin Council and the people won't donate $2 damn so y'all can get something done. So that's why I don't care enough.
So what will make you care?
Getting paid. Y'all gonna pay me, I'll come.
You say, what you say?
What you say, getting paid?
Yes, sir. The almighty dollar, like my brother Maloney is talking about.
That's what we say. Right.
But you gotta have something to bring to the table. What you bring to the table? You know, I don't think nobody have a problem paying
I'm gonna get people riled up. Hey, listen. Them 24 people y'all reached out to, I would have made sure them 24 people was coming in on a weekly basis. It sounds like y'all need somebody to stay in charge of. Y'all got too much to do.
He said he would have reached out to everybody, the 24 people every week. He said, we got too much to do or something like that.
That's a good idea. Why don't you come and collect the money? We'll count on you to do that.
We need one of you brothers to come run the donation, and we need another brother to run the communications.
Oh, I'll run them donations too.
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like one of you brothers want to run the donations and one want to run the communications.
I most definitely could do that, my brother. I don't mind teaching the people. I love to teach the people. These my peoples.
No, I'm the teacher, so it's okay.
Yes.
Right. I'm the teacher. It's all right. Everybody has a role they need to play. So what I'm saying is, can we count on right now, Malonius, you running the donations, Sauce Pack, you coming down and running the communications for Northwest Austin Council?
Done. Shit, I definitely can do it, brother.
Done. All right. Sauce Pack.
See, yes, when that work come on, man.
Yes, sir. Y'all say if y'all saying y'all paying me, absolutely. I charge $20.
Well, see, so the payment is gonna come. So Malonius is gonna run the donations. When he get the donations, we pay you. We pay you that way. That's how non-for-profits are supported anyway.
Yeah.
I'm with it then. I'm with that. As long as y'all pay me.
See, man, you got to be in it for the people too, man.
We got where
we were. I just told you, I was being honest with you, sir. Being honest with y'all.
That's the difficulty. So that's the difficulty. Now we do understand, because that's a difficulty. This is a passion-based work where you got to care about the people that you're serving as well. We are servant leaders doing this. You know, we care about the people that we serve. We want to see this community in a better position. If that's not how you coming in, you may not match up with the values of the organization.
Hey, listen. The greatest salesmen in the world don't usually care about the products they sell, but they can still sell it.
Products. We talked about making some money, right?
Yep.
Now, I'm gonna tell you what Bush told me a long time ago. He says, if we as black people, if we just came around one product, packaged it, labeled it, and distributed it to sell, we can make a lot of money.
Hey, man.
And he brought up toilet paper. He said, Lord knows that everybody needs toilet paper. But you know what's gonna happen? Somebody gonna say, I don't want black toilet paper. I want the white one. I don't want this toilet paper. It ain't round enough. It ain't flat enough. It ain't. We gotta come together on one accord to even make some money. And that's a simple one. If we could get 100,000 rolls, not even 100,000. Let's say, 250,000 rolls of toilet paper, and get them distributed in our communities and sold, and sell them at, I don't know, let's say 75 cents a roll. I don't know. It's got to be quality, obviously.
Yeah.
Would everybody buy that, or would they say, nah, I'm not gonna do that? And then even if you don't buy it,
How when you go to the dollar store for a 4-pack?
I mean, if
So it might make it a little more
if you want to use your Charmin or whatever, still buy that one roll. You're gonna use it,
Yeah.
but it's going in towards the pot.
Yeah, it's about supporting.
You know,
It's about supporting.
It's about supporting. And if we don't support within, especially for the bare necessities that we need, then what we talking about?
I want to bring the Zoom back in, man. Y'all been very quiet over there. Anybody in the Zoom, man? What's up? Tap in.
That's right.
Join the conversation, man. How y'all feeling about these
Miss
things?
Cora, what you got to say?
I agree with the toilet paper.
She said she agree with the toilet paper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is.
Everybody else on the Zoom?
Let's do the math real quick.
Who all we got on there? Miss Jake? we got Miss Jacobs. Who that? That's Raheem. I can't see that file over there now. Hold on now.
Yeah, what's going on, fellas?
Oh, Raheem, what's up, brother, man? I don't know when you jumped in, but what all you heard so far, man? What's your take on whatever you heard so far?
I really just got in, and I know y'all talking about like politics and people donate and like money, but I really don't know what this conversation is right now. So.
Okay, for sure.
We'll pull you back.
Yeah. No worries.
I just did this number. We come up with $187,500 if we just sold 250,000 rolls of toilet paper at 75 cents, which I know a roll of toilet paper don't cost 75 cents. It probably only costs like 10 cents to make. And all the other in-betweens is, the packaging and all this other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, everybody bought 5 rolls each, or 250,000 rolls is a lot. But if you do the math.
Well, I think that's part of that. That's the interesting thing about non-for-profits, and that when you raise funds, those funds can be raised in a variety of ways. So at this point, I mean, if you and I figured out a way to create that tissue and sold it at 75 cents and to raise funds for the organization, then, I mean, we could definitely make a whole lot more happen. That's for damn sure.
And you know what? When Butch brought that to me about 5, 6, 7 years ago, I was like, toilet paper, what are you talking about? Then I thought about it. You're right. Everybody, then what happened? A pandemic. Butch was dead way before the pandemic. And everybody out struggling to buy toilet paper. I was like, man, Butch was dead on it. He was dead on it. But I mean, I was just thinking if at 250,000 rolls, you need about 1,200 rolls per person if you only sold to like 200 people.
Yeah.
But that's 200 people. I mean, 200 people. That's 200 people on one block.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think, and I'm going to be quite frank with this, the sheer fact that we've done so much work in the community, name's good. If we went to everybody that we know and said, look, 75 cents for this roll of paper, we raising donations for Northwest Austin Council, we can make that happen. We could sell 250,000 rolls easy.
And they going to use
it. Easy. So that's nothing.
And they're going to think of us when they use it.
Yeah.
Every time they use it.
On me, shorty. I just paid 75 cents for this damn roll. This shit better be good.
This
better be 8-ply.
It's time when I've been talking. I'm dead serious about rubber hit the road. I ain't got nothing but road. Let's hit it. Let's do it. I ain't got nothing.
Also, DeAndre, you got a course. You got your course. You know what? That could be a donation. You donate, you get a course. You know what I'm saying? You donate, you get a financial literacy course. I got a computer literacy course that I created. I got a business course. You feel me? So think people could donate and also receive some type of education in the form of donating. You're not just going to, and then you're donating to the people who are builders, who's going to actually build community around you, build things that you've never seen. If people want to see change, you gotta treat this like Marvel. We could be the Eternals, and we protecting y'all from the deviants, from the the evildoers. But
Yeah.
but
Man,
our
people ain't see Eternals, man. They don't know nothing about the
Captain
Eternals.
Planet, all his powers came from the people. All his powers came from the people.
All power to the people, because the power is what the people
I
reside.
like this energy, though. I really like this energy because it motivates me. Because we got the beginning of the year to come. We've only been doing this show. What episode we on? 17 or something?
Yeah,
like that?
17.
17 weeks. But we only got about 5 more weeks left in the year? Is that 4 to 5 more weeks left of shows? I want to start out first of the year with some activation. And let's take some notes. We need some notes right now so we can make sure that we are in line.
It's recorded.
Yeah, there you go.
It's recorded.
Yeah. But I'm saying, what do we want to be the number one thing we want to designate for the first of the year? Because again, we got to be organized. Ms. Jacobs saying, let's address the issue with truancy. Tiny saying, let's address the issues with whatever it may
Climate
be,
change.
but as long as we put climate change in the middle of it. South Pack is saying we got to give money. Maloney is saying, let's utilize the resources in the community that we have, and let's try to patronize them. I'm saying everybody needs toilet paper, because Butch said it 5-6 years ago. All I got to do, or somebody that has the know-how, is source out a manufacturer of toilet paper. We package it, we ship it, deliver it, sell it, and we can make some money over there.
I think that goes back to when I was talking about hemp. We could make toilet paper out of hemp. Yeah. You know what? Look, I'll leave that to myself. I'm gonna look for a hemp manufacturer that can produce toilet paper, and I'll get back with you.
That's more than 75 cents at that. If you want hemp, that might be more than 75 cents.
I mean, I don't know, but one thing we do know is it's biodegradable. We know it's better for the environment. We know that that's gonna help climate change. We know that that's sustainable, and we know that it should not be as expensive. In fact, I'm gonna do a Google search right now. So I'm gonna see. I don't know, brother, but I'm finna see right now.
At least we do know. I do know this much. We get some energy out here, because without the energy, we can't promote and move anywhere. And I agree. Sauce Pack, let's time to stop talking. Let's walk the walk. Seriously.
Now, if y'all really want to make some toilet paper, we can have that toilet paper made in 1 week.
Oh.
Look, hemp toilet paper, 24 rolls for $32.99.
Woo! What's that? About 75 cents a roll, right? A little less, a little.
No, let's do the math.
Let's do the math.
What I say, 30, 24? 24 for 33.
I think y'all should. I think. Look, $1. Come on,
it'd be about $1, yeah.
Man, because you got to pay for the paper, the wrapper, the packaging around it. You know what I'm saying?
75 cents. What I just tell you? But this is my thing. What is hemp?
Hemp?
Yeah.
Hemp is the seed. It's the non. How you call it? So it's the non. I'm trying to think of the scientific way to say THC. So it's basically the plant, the THC plant sans THC. No cannabidiol inside the plant. So it's just the plant version.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man.
So basically they're utilizing the plant to create products.
So somebody's out here making it already.
I've been listen. The plant on North Avenue. What I say? It's on Austin and Armitage. If we figured out how to get somebody that's in hemp to buy that building and create a hemp manufacturing site, we could create toilet tissue, straws, cups, plates, forks, whatever. We have a place where hundreds of people could work, and we create sustainability right in the community. Like I said, we could turn the cocaine highway to the hemp highway. Period. I said, look. my thing is, we got ideas. We speaking to what Melonius and Sauce Pack was saying. At this point, we need some money to propel those ideas. I think Barry's still on. Barry is one who typically disagrees with the money aspect, but even Barry can't disagree right here, man. To get some of these ideas off the ground, we're gonna need some bread. We need some bread. We're gonna have to figure, like I said, I don't think we need to figure out how to get money, because I think this world has enough resources. We gotta do it at this point. It's just about doing it. Just get it, you know.
Got your own small economy.
Oh, Barry, I saw you pop on the screen there. What's up, Barry?
No, I've been here this week. Seems to me that if you're talking about dollars, you're talking about a market, which means that somebody is, if we're making toilet paper, then somebody's got to buy it.
Right.
And we've got to distribute it to them. And if the only thing we're distributing is toilet paper, then the delivery cost is phenomenal. Unless we're going to stand on the, and hawk it from hawk it to passing cars. So it seems to me that if you're going to deal with dollars, then what occurs to me is do a buying club and a delivery service, where you find, especially so many people are not on the internet, the elders, and the elders need stuff, so you can save them money by
We lost. Say it again, Barry. Barry, are you there?
I think it might jump out. Is it Barry?
Yeah, it's just Barry.
Yeah.
Yeah, say the last part again, if you don't mind.
I said, if you're buying stuff for, let's say, elders, toilet paper could be amongst those things that elders would need.
Okay.
So you could focus on one item, and you would have worked out the delivery part of it. Because if you're just delivering toilet paper, that would be very hard, extremely high delivery costs.
Well, most
the question is, what in our community would people pay for it?
Yeah.
well, I mean,
What occurs to me is a buying club.
What was you gonna say?
People are probably
I wonder what's the deal. Yeah, that building, that manufacturing company. I think it was the old Zena building. You know, it's right around the corner from Hostess, right there. That building, it's for sale right now. It's a for sale sign on the building right now. Let's put our pennies together and see if we can get it.
oh God.
I'm trying to tell you, we can make it happen, man.
No, what I was gonna say, to Barry's point, most black grassroots businesses start within the community, so delivery wouldn't be a problem, because my girl done bought strawberries from a girl on the south side, and so I mean, she just drove her car and delivered the strawberries. It was like $15 from the south side, which is really not that long of a distance. You know what I'm saying? So And then people start beauty salons all the time, and they drive from wherever they live to the beauty salon. So, and then it's 3 million people in Chicago. So delivery wouldn't, and then it's not like it's gonna really be booming that big in the beginning anyway. And with the donations from the people, this is how we create the service for the people. So once we get the proper donations, then and if I got a car, I wouldn't mind. Oh, Miss Evans up the street on 55th need her tissue. Even if it's just the 8 roll, I will go take that 8 roll to Miss Evans. That's what
Right.
we do. That's just what we do.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, Barry's right about the logistics behind the transportation and delivery, but there's new ways. We're in a new era now. Ain't nobody thought about drones. Toilet paper don't weigh that much.
That's what I was finna bring up. Congressman popped right in at the right time because I sure was finna ask him about this aviation grant. You know, that's something we want to go after. We have an individual that's gonna teach how to fly drones, and we need to know about them aviation grants and when that's gonna drop because that's something that Northwest Austin Council want to bring to the community. We want to be those individuals that's gonna teach the community how to fly drones. And when we talk about logistics, like Steve was saying, when it comes to delivery, none to have something dropped off by a drone. Come on now, that's gonna be too cool. We there now. We there now.
I just finished talking to an instructor earlier this evening, a guy named Victor Krausweg, who's a Tuskegee Airman. They've owned airplanes. As a matter of fact, he and his buddies have flown their little airplanes over my parade and picnic several times.
The airplanes or drones?
No, I'm talking about airplanes.
Oh, okay. He did right. Airplanes. Okay.
My next door neighbor is an airplane mechanic. He's retired, of course. He's older than I am. So he's retired. We call him the mayor of our block, the mayor of our neighborhood. His name is George Jones. There's going to be an exhibition on December the 11th, a drone exhibition at Olive Harvey College. Starts at 10 o'clock a.m. and they'll basically be there all day.
All right.
It just happens that I've been closely associated with individuals who've been engaged in aviation. I've had two personal friends who own their own little airplanes.
Right.
And one used to fly to Wyoming and would always try to get me to go with him. And my wife would say, look, I know you do things, but don't fly to Wyoming with this guy in this little airplane. But yeah, aviation, we've got an aviation subcommittee.
Right.
Committee, and we're very engaged in promoting aviation, given the fact that only 2% of the pilots in the United States of America are Black.
Wow.
2%. Although there are a number of kids that we've sent to military academies who are pilots. One is, as a matter of fact, an ace pilot. And of course, Dr. Bill Winston out at the Living Word Christian Center flies his airplane to Tuskegee many Sunday afternoons when he's finished preaching.
Hold on, pause that. You said his airplane?
Yeah.
Man, hold on. How much he worth?
Look, there are so many people in our community who are absolute superstars.
Jesus, I didn't know that man had a
sometimes
plane.
we don't know about.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He has been a fighter pilot. He's also been a regular commercial pilot flying for American Airlines. I think it was American. And he started Living Word Christian Center.
Right, he did, yeah.
In the living room of some people, friends of his, right here on Lake Street. After he got the call to preach. His daddy was an economics professor, I think it was economics, at Tuskegee. And of course, that's where he went to school, and that's where he learned to fly and do all of these other things. So there are opportunities. The president of United Airlines is an African American fellow. We've had him at our meeting. We've also had American Airlines and a number of their programs, and we've had people on from all over the country. As a matter of fact, colleges and universities and training programs, because they are all beginning to try and recruit more African Americans to be engaged and involved in the aviation field.
Industry, yes.
And of course, we are leading the way with that because we're trying to get to the point where the Pell Grant could be used for individuals to study aviation and learn to fly. Now we're quite a distance from that because learning to fly is somewhat expensive, and most of the individuals who learn still go through military training. Although there are large numbers of people, larger numbers, I should say, who are beginning to go to commercial schools and are learning aviation. And we're trying to get the Chicago public school system to increase in terms of pre-learning before individuals get to college, because we do have a program at Olive Harvard where you can learn aviation maintenance and you can't necessarily learn to fly. But you can learn the drone stuff and all, technology. So by all means, let us know when you're going to do. Because I just asked the guy this afternoon if they would do an exhibition on the west side. But aviation is a long ways away. But it is, Olive Harvard is quite a distance. And they do have that specialty. But all of the city colleges have different specialty areas that they work in. And aviation, transportation, that happens to be
a specialty at Olive Harvey. It's all right. I drove to Olive Harvey. I was teaching down there, the police, in last November. So
I was offered the job out there one time as president. But
I remember you spoke on that.
I didn't want to go away. That part time I was trying to get Malcolm X College, but there are opportunities. There really are. I admit that there are things that are hard, things that are difficult, and they're not enough, and we don't match them. But there are, I believe that wherever there is a will, there is a way.
Right.
And if we can help inspire individuals to have the will, that meets halfway the way. I'm saying the way is tough.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not suggesting by any stretch of imagination that is easy, or there's fairness, or there's equal opportunity. There is not. But if individuals can generate enough will, they can help create the way.
Well, let's bring Congressman up to snuff on what we were speaking on, DeAndre. Go ahead, you mind?
So we basically started out with the Rittenhouse thing, and one of the gentlemen brought up the fact that he thought that was basically planned, in that it is essentially creating a diversion to start a race war, so to speak. Then from there, we started talking about organizing and the role that politics play in organizing. And I was telling everybody that I believe that we do our politics the wrong way. Instead of going to the individuals that want to be elected and saying, these are our agenda items, if you can give us the top 3 of these in your term, we'll make sure you get another term, so on and so forth. Then from there, we started talking about the need to get money for our organization because we started talking about our 40 blocks that we showed you the report for and how we didn't have much opportunity to really reach out to as many people as we would have liked because we do so many different things with so many different working groups. And I think the last part was pretty much where we at now, where we were talking about trying to bring some resources to the organization
When the rubber hits the road.
versus in different ways. So,
See, I think that organizing is the key to all of it. No matter what it is that you're talking about. If you're talking about having power and influence, for example, people could really go to church and they would need to have districts, and Baptist conventions, and associations. If all they wanted to do was go to church, they can just go to the church on the corner, and they can preach, and they can pray, and they can sing, and they can have all the religion that they want to have. Mm-hmm. But they want to also have power and influence and increase their numbers. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, they could have kept with 12 disciples. They were doing all right. They really were doing some good stuff. But 12 wasn't enough. Right. I mean, 12 times 12 wasn't enough. So you gotta organize if you want to have influence. You can't just say things are going to happen if people know certain things. Mm-hmm. Knowledge is essential, but you got to organize the knowledge. If knowledge was okay without organizing, college professors wouldn't have to have an association of college professors. They just, I'm a professor. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know everything. I know what you need to know. Mm-hmm. I mean, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, and whatever they did. But organizing is essential. And if you're not part of something that's organized, and you're claiming that you want to have influence, that you want to have power, that you want to improve the quality of life, you want to have fairness, you want the judicial system to operate right, then you're really just kidding yourself. Mm-hmm. It's like wanting the rain without the thunder and the lightning. You can't get it. When it rains, there's been some condensation somewhere. Something causes it, and to organize it is absolutely.
Now you can't get it. You're not going to get around organizing. But I think one of the things that Steve was saying is that there's so many different elements that everybody looks at. Miss J on the line on the Zoom wants to look at truant officers. Steve wants to look at toilet paper because Butch was saying before he passed that toilet paper was essential to everybody, and that if we could create rolls of toilet paper, right? Let's just say hypothetically 75 cents a roll. We could and sell 250,000 of those. That's $187,000 and some change, right?
If you could get to selling it and get people to buying it,
right?
You get super rich off of it.
I mean, that's business. That business all day. And then we got Melonius was saying that we need to tap more into the resources we have in our community. Black brothers like himself, he does marketing via websites, Shopify websites. He can do. He's created business courses to teach people how to brand themselves. He has a ton of valuable utility, so to speak, and it's not being properly capitalized on. Same thing, like you can say of myself, double masters, PhD. You know what I mean? Not being capitalized fully on in the community, right? Then you got
organized at every level.
Yeah.
You know, I was just thinking. You know, we just passed the infrastructure bill.
But the thing was, so I just want to say this. So the thing is, though, the concentration, though, because what we're trying to figure out is how do we concentrate on something? What thing is the thing that we need to concentrate on? We have a lot of people that's listening right now, and what we would like to do is activate these individuals. But everybody has their thing that they are most interested in. And we know that a lot of times this organizing does revolve around interests. So how do we as a people with a ton of different interests come together to focus on something that we can create a more powerful movement on?
Everybody don't have to do the same thing. For
Mhm.
example,
That's what Tiny said.
We're about to get about $18 billion in the state of Illinois from the infrastructure program. 18 billion. Now, different entities want to see that money used in different ways. Some of us want to see some of it big time used on the Eisenhower Expressway. Some of us want to see it used big time on Lake Street. There's a group that wants a couple $1 billion to go to Lake Street to widen and make Lake Street safer. Then there are other people in different other communities all over the state who want to see it used in different ways. So we're going to have a lot of negotiating to do. We're going to have a lot of advocating to do to try and get that money used the way different communities want to see it used. I want to make sure that African American business people get some of it. I want to make sure small business people get some of it. I want to make sure that guys standing on the street corner out here learn how to work at some of these places and get some of it. So the fact that it's gotten appropriated is done. I mean, it's for real. It ain't something that's gonna happen. It's done. The man already put his signature to it. It's coming. How do we make sure we get our fair share?
Can I jump in? Can I say something, fellas?
Yep, please do.
Go ahead, Ryan.
All right, so yeah, when I first got on, I wasn't really following, but I'm caught up now. So I think this is like throwing my 2 cents in. I feel like as Black people, like we've created a lot. Like you look back through history, like we've created a lot for society.
Absolutely.
And but we don't like own it, you know. Either like somebody stole the idea or we didn't have a patent or something like that. I think since we going into like an information age, I don't necessarily know if it's like a tangible product or service that you can put out or that you should put out. I think if we could develop like a think tank, something like that, and start like putting patents on the ideas and the concepts that we have, or like trademarking words and concepts, different things like that, and then pushing those words, we can like, okay, it's just an example. Like who owns the word dot?
Thought?
Dot.
Right. Facts. Nobody.
So let's say that we created that word and put a trademark on it. So every time somebody uses dot, they gotta pay it. You know what I mean? So if we start like actually taking ownership of our concepts and our ideas,
that's a fact.
Because so many people have come up off our culture, man. It's crazy.
Like bling bling.
So many people.
Bling bling. Yep. Bling bling.
Fall under intellectual properties?
Yeah, it would be. Yep.
But we got to get involved enough even there. We have there's a group that has an organization, and they are inventors. They are small inventors, and they maintain that the big guys in the business take their creations, take their inventions, and profit off them, and they have difficulty protecting what they invent and create, because even though they may create it, they don't always have the money to develop or the resources to develop their creation into a saleable item, and somebody else takes it, develops it, distributes it, and make the money off of it.
That's kind of like what I think Raheem was saying, a think tank, create a think tank.
Yeah.
An inventors quorum or council or something like that.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm saying even after you do that, you also need the resources to develop. And so you start small. And, you know, many of these people started their businesses basically for nothing. I know guys who tell me they've got $1 million businesses that they started in the basement of their home, or they started in their garages, or they started. And so individuals with that kind of creativity, I mean, some of us don't have that. I mean, in terms of the creative ability, you know, I got a brother who always could just fix stuff. He fixed television, he fixed radio, he fixed a watch. He just fixed it. He could just, some of it, he didn't always have any training. I remember he broke my dad's headlights out of his first car. First car my dad had. He was so proud of that car, him and his buddy both. They used to wash them and clean them, and came home one day and just broke the headlights out. And of course, he almost went berserk. And I remember him asking, Jesse, what made you do that, boy? What the devil? What caused you? And so Jesse told me, I just wanted to see what made it work.
Right. And gotta break it to fix it.
Of course, you got to tighten up.
Yeah. What's the reverse engineering? That's what he was doing. Reverse engineering.
This was before reverse engineering.
Right. Yeah, but he had to figure out how that thing worked, though.
He got to tighten up. But he did become a chemist. I mean, he did end up becoming a chemist. That's what he did until he retired. He's retired now.
Well, you know, we kind of got focused a little bit because everybody's like, what are we gonna do? And I said, we got an up and coming year. We're in the 17th episode of the show. And I said, we probably got about another 4 to 5 left in the year, but we need to be about the action of what we plan to do January 1, you know. And, you know, people are saying, what are we going to do? Well, there's so many issues. There's so many things to jump on. I said, one, let's try to get people registered to vote. It's an election year coming. Let's do that. And if you get somebody registered to vote, at least when it comes time to get out and vote, take at least 2 people with you. Make sure 2 people go with you. That's something that doesn't take a lot to do.
That's one way of organizing. I'm saying if you got 20 people, and maybe 5 may work on one thing, 5 may work on another thing. And I'm saying, and if you can organize other people around that concept, as opposed to using a scattergun approach, and just saying, well, you know, we working on everything. But if you can get different people, that's kind of the idea
project
in terms of subcommittees and
Right. That's what Sauce Pack, when somebody was saying, can we get another committee or group to work on these things? I'm like, yeah, we can definitely do that. But
On
we need
every
to set.
committee that I'm on, the way we do it in Congress, if you're on a committee, then you get 2 subcommittees of that committee that you function on. So you don't go to every meeting that there is. You deal with, for example, I'm on the Ways and Means Committee, and the 2 subcommittees that I'm on is trade and the one I chair, which is family and worker support. I got on the family and worker support because of what comes out of, for example, we're the ones that came up with the $300 checks that people got Fun Club, because we have jurisdiction over federal unemployment. We wanted $400, but the Senate wouldn't go with the 400. So we ended up, we're the ones that came up with the $300 that people have been getting for federal unemployment until it ran out. And the Republicans, of course, say we're paying people not to work. In that you can't to work because you're giving them all this money. They don't have to work.
Nah, listen, on behalf of everybody that was able to sit at home for a while, thank you. For real, thank you. Because a lot of good things came from being able to sit at home for a while, for real. Whether it was ideas or it was solutions, you know what I mean? In some respects, not for everybody, but for those that really was on it, it was good. So I want to say, right, so you know what? Let me move back over this way. So Zoom, anybody want to chime in? We haven't gotten y'all in a minute, man. What's up? What's the word?
Houston. How about you? Ella Houston. How about Miss Sherman? We haven't heard from you in a while.
Hey, I'm just listening.
Okay, we got you. How about Miss Sherman? Dolly Sherman. Miss Dolly. How about
I'm sorry, I couldn't unmute.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just listening, and listen to the ideas, and so just let us think on it.
Okay.
So maybe the next time we come back together, we'll have something.
I thought you was down south again in that little town where you lose reception.
No, I'm prepared for all of them to come up here for Thanksgiving, so I'm excited about that.
That's good. That's good to hear from you, Miss Sherman.
Hello, Miss Dolly. How you doing? I'm doing wonderful. That's Miss Bertha. No, it's me, Tamika. Oh, hi, Tamika. How are you? And family.
There you go.
And family. Tell family I said hi. Miss Dolly said hi. I'm babysitting, so. Oh, okay.
All right. Who else we got there? Anybody want to comment? What was the question, DeAndre?
No, I just wanted to see if anybody wanted to jump in, man.
Yeah, anybody want
Yeah, I'd like to.
Go ahead. Yes, indeed.
So, Steve, you mentioned January 1st, and I really like what the congressman was saying is that we need to organize people around multiple issues. If somebody, like Edie Jacobs is very interested in getting truant officers, and DeAndre, people have different interests. So it seems to me that the unifying concept is Petersburg. And the way we can organize and at the same time support each other is through various Peacebrook governing councils, like the Peacebrook Safety Council and Peacebrook Environmental Council, and we can have a Peacebrook Children's Council, which is where
Edie Jacobs' idea could be. And we can form as many councils as there are people interested in a particular issue.
Well, you know, you mentioned children, and I am so delighted because the bill that we stayed up all night the other night when the filibuster was going on, and then we passed it, the Build Back Better. Once the Senate passes that bill, it is supposed to make preschool education available to every 3 and 4 year old child in the United States of America. That every child, 3 and 4, should have an opportunity for preschool education. Do you know how much that is going to help children growing up? Some folks are unfortunate in many ways because I remember stuff that I was taught when I was 6 and 7 years old, and I managed to remember it. Now, I sure do. I remember Thanksgiving is coming up, and we had this woman who just taught us all kind of poems. And I remember Miss Beatty taught us this thing about Thanksgiving and eating and being with your grandparents and that kind of stuff. And she taught us this little poem about over the river and through the woods to grandmama's house we go. The horse knows the way to carry the sleigh over the white and drifted snow. Over the river and through the woods, my grandmother's cap I spy. Hooray for the fun is the pudding done. Hooray for the pumpkin pie. So I've always associated Thanksgiving with being at grandmama's house if grandmama was living.
Yeah.
And eating and cranberry sauce and giving. But even then I remember that the Native Americans gave so much to the settlers who wouldn't have had anything to eat and stuff if the Indians hadn't shown them how to plant this stuff and what would grow and what they could eat. And here they come at Thanksgiving shooting wild turkeys and eating squash and
that's squash at home. Acorn.
And making dressing.
Acorn squash.
Now I remember that stuff from the time I was 6, 7 years old.
Man.
Those are good memories. And
that's when I continue about it.
They do continue, Congressman. Everybody has great memories, I think, around Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Well, every child in this country is supposed to have access when they 3 and 4 years old.
That's a great thing.
To go to school. Now that ain't making nobody a millionaire tomorrow, but it may make some millionaires when they grow up.
Right.
And learn stuff as they keep learning based on the knowledge they gained when they was 3 and 4 years old.
Right.
And they keep building on that. Kids learn to read now, 3, 4 years old. They learn foreign languages. They learn all
most definitely.
Stuff.
Most
they
definitely.
Have access to it, and that's one of the things that Build Back Better is supposed to make possible once it's passed.
Now, how do y'all? So I saw the House passed it. Obviously, I think that was a given. But what about the Senate? How do you think that's gonna? Because I see that's kind of up in the air with them.
We got all these rules, and the reason that there are people who want to be senators, the way the rules are in the Senate, each individual senator has enormous power and influence. You know that one senator can block the appointment of somebody for a cabinet post or to be a federal judge. They put a hold on it. Just one senator. Everybody else, the other 99 can say,
Damn.
do so and so. And
That's
this
crazy.
one can say, no, I don't want that done.
And hold the process up,
guy
huh?
insulted me when so and so and so and so. And that's why following all of this stuff down the line is so important, and knowing the difference, like we have these discussions and arguments, that once we get money to the state, it's really now left up to the state office holders to make sure that money is spread around. Once we get money to the city, it's the city councilman, it's the alderman, and the mayor that's supposed to make sure that that money is handled appropriately and is spread around to different communities and different programs and different areas, and everybody get their fair share and a fair shake. And that's why all these different levels are important, and everyone has to be functioning. And so every citizen has a responsibility to help make sure that every level of this business is functioning so that the citizenry get the benefit of what they're supposed to get.
Right.
So people got to make sure that the state reps and the state senators are doing the thing at the state to make sure that money gets spread around. Also, I would be, and I do see some streets being paved. I see some construction thing going on, but I don't see enough indigenous people working.
Right. That's a fact.
I must admit,
there are not enough community bargaining agreements, son.
And so
benefit agreements.
Yeah, you gotta make sure that the stuff is spread around.
Absolutely. So anybody else got any
Somebody want to
comments?
jump in? It sounded like.
How about?
Well, I would say this. I mean, we coming up on 8, and I think we got a lot of people. So typically, like we like to do is just wind down with everybody having their final little say so. So I think it'd be a good time to start that. Before we do that, though, I always like to say that we do this every Sunday between 6 to 8. We have various ways to interact with the show. We got the Facebook, the Zoom, we got the YouTube. If you're on the YouTube or the Facebook, like, comment, subscribe, especially comment. Best way to interact with the show, as you can see, and if you've been with us, you have saw that we were able to put the comments directly on the screen. You get to see how people feel and what they think about it. And we can have discussion about those comments. Unless you want to come directly on the show, then we got a link for that. You can come right into the show and be right on the screen with us. Right. That being said, I'm going to take it to the Zoom so that we can get final comments. Basically, just whatever you'd like to say, man, in closing as we get ready to depart, man. Please share with us. So I can't see the names over there. So, Steve, if you want to start reading that.
How about, let's start from the top. Ms. Sherman, do you have any words of wisdom for us as we close?
No, I don't have anything right now.
All righty.
Well,
it's good to hear from you anyway. Ms. Jacobs, you have any words of wisdom as we close?
No, I'm just still thinking about our children, and I think we all need to, like you said, come together and form an agenda and get to work by the first of the year on what we want for our community and our children.
Well, that's what we need to do. We need to form these committees. And we'll find those individuals that have to lead the committees, to get some people to participate and help them in those committees. How about Miss Houston? Hello, Houston.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have nothing to say. I'm just listening.
Well, have a happy Thanksgiving.
Because I'm kind shy right now.
That's all right.
Yeah, no worries.
All right then, Barry. What you got to say, Barry?
I'd love to see some of the money that is going to hopefully flow into the city of Chicago, leverage people and within neighborhoods, helping each other, organizing each other, organizing with each other.
Absolutely. How about Raheem?
Hey, great show, fellas. Again, great show. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say, man. I guess it's not like one thing that's ailing us, so it's not going to be like one solution to it.
Right.
But that's keep on doing what y'all doing, man. Y'all doing some great work, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think the subcommittees are going to be the key. That's how you get people activated and get them generated and get something moved, because there's just too many issues. How about you, Tamika?
All right, I can keep myself muted and hopefully no catastrophe happens while we're talking. This semester, I'm working on an activist magazine, right? And one of the titles for the magazine, I'm calling it Justice for Y'all. And the reason why I'm calling it Justice for Y'all, because the saying is justice for all. You just put that Y and it totally changes the definition. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's for. And y'all is not necessarily meaning one ethnicity. It's the upperclassmen, whoever they are. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that the justice is made for, because people who are not higher income, they suffer because they don't have the money to pay for the legal system so they can be free. Like, it's just so messed up, and I keep trying to think about it and try to figure out ways around it, but in our society, it's just so messed up how people get prosecuted for crimes they didn't do just because they don't have the money to prove that they're innocent.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say about this topic today. I don't speak much. I normally keep myself low key, but some things are like something on my nerves right now, and I'm trying to figure out how, as an individual, I can help the community change that outcome. So
that's great. That's great. Every little bit counts. Everybody counts. How about you, Miss Core? How about you?
Well, first of all, happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Thank you.
And it has been very enlightening to me. I've learned so much, especially about the toilet paper. I hope that someday we can get together and do something of that sort. I don't know if you're aware that hemp is one of the best proteins that you can take. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's good to know, Miss Cole.
Yeah.
How about anybody else on the other channels? Go ahead.
So,
I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm going to continue.
We have so many great minds here tonight, and hopefully that next year we'll just burst out and do many, many things for our community.
Absolutely. We got to get a good running start. With your help, we're going to make it happen.
Oh, it's going to happen.
For sure. Appreciate you coming on. Anybody else out there?
I think that's it.
That's it. Everybody off the StreamYard?
Yeah, that's it. Congressman.
Let me tell you, I've had such a great day. I was having breakfast this morning. I met a young fella who's a barber. He and his wife, girlfriend, whoever. They were having breakfast also. And he invited me to come to his barber shop and get a haircut.
A haircut on him, huh?
Yeah, it was just cool. It was just wonderful.
That's what's up.
Then I ran into another lady who stopped me and told me, she said, my daughter just loves you. And here, and you took a picture with her when she was at Orr High School.
Mm.
And here it is. And oh my goodness. I ran into another guy who asked me for $1.
Mm.
And I didn't have $1. He said, Dad, say, I need to get on the bus.
Mm.
And he said, give me $1, that'll make me out. I said, I didn't have $1. So I said, look, I tell you what, I don't have $1. I do have one $5 bill. So you give me what you got towards the bus fare. Now I just he ran in his pocket and pulled out some change. And so I just let him have the whole $5. Yeah. I was like, I thought you had more than
it's a season to give it. Come back around, yeah.
But no, there's a lot of good things.
Yes,
my staff gave away about 500 turkeys on Friday.
Yeah.
I wasn't even in town. They did it themselves. I want to thank them for it.
Absolutely.
And for making sure that some people who may not have had a turkey, you know, and there were Emma Mitz was giving away turkeys yesterday. And just, you know, trying to make people's Thanksgiving, because some people get turkeys and all, they don't really need anybody to give them a turkey. They just
need extra turkey.
Well, no, I mean, it's just a kind of a mentality. You know, I always believe in helping the needy and not the greedy. And some people are just greedy. They're just that way. And,
Right.
And that's why a program where people are really being taught values.
Yeah.
And
it's come up a lot. It's come up a
kinds
lot.
of things in terms of certain values. Do you value life?
Yeah.
Do you value honesty? Do you value integrity? Do you value, you know, I am so glad I grew up during the time that I did, and that people had these values that they tried to lay on you. They didn't have a bunch of stuff like I just said. I remember when my dad had bought his first car. I was about, maybe 12, 13 years old at that time. And before that, he didn't have a car. Before that, we rode in a wagon, WAGON. We also had a horse. Horse was named Nubbin. And the reason we named him Nubbin, because when you feed him corn, he would eat the corn and wouldn't bite your hand. And he somehow or another was smart enough.
Horses are very smart.
You always would be kind of scared, but we used to like to feed him, and he wouldn't bite you. He nubbed.
Now listen to what Congressman was saying. They had a horse and wagon as a part of their necessity.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what my dad used to take a wagon load of watermelon to town and park it on the street and say whoever wanted watermelon come and get it. And we used to say, Dad, why don't you sell them? He said, sell them to who? To the people. He said, what they gonna pay? They ain't got no money. We ain't got nothing. What make you think they got something? Where they gonna get it from? He said, you boys going to more watermelons you can't get? Oh, we got plenty. He said, but then don't worry about somebody else having some. Since we got them, we used to take a wagon load. Sunday morning, my dad would announce at church, anybody want some powdered peas, just come on out to the field and pick them. If you want some purple hulls, come pick them, come get them. You want some roasting ears? And so I am so delighted that I grew up around those kind of people who shared what they had with each other.
Absolutely.
And even though they didn't have much, it was as if they had plenty. Because whatever they had,
that's community right there.
Other people had. We killed
that's community right
Everybody in the neighborhood got a piece of meat. We got some.
That's community right there.
mama
We got
would
away
say,
from that,
take
man.
this to Miss Jones.
We've really gotten away from that.
Take this to Miss Susan.
Yep.
Take so and so a piece
Yep.
and so
With
and
no
so.
waste.
I mean, just doing it. I mean, just the level of camaraderie that people had was such that people used to come and sit up with each other all night long when somebody was sick. They couldn't go to a nursing home. They didn't have no nursing home. They couldn't go to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
They just sit up and they'd sit there in that person's house with them until they die.
Man, that's a different.
They just sit there.
That's such a totally different era.
And then have to go to work.
That's crazy.
Themselves that next morning. And they sometimes leave the person's house and go on to the field to work. And so, yeah, I admit that I'm kind of envious of that age.
Yeah.
And of that era and that time.
Man.
But I'm glad I grew up in it. And so Thanksgiving is just a great time to be thankful. And I'm even thinking of calling up some people that I've had some disagreements with and so forth. And kind of reconcile.
Yeah, I hear that.
Thanksgiving, not so much for them as much as for me.
Yeah.
I try not to let anything or anybody steal my joy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like to be at peace with myself. And so the only way that I can be at peace with myself is to be at peace with others.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to use the Yuletide period for that kind of thing. So everybody just have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
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 Steve?
I just want to say, for those that are looking to get vaccinated, Northwest Austin Council will be doing vaccination on the 30th of November, Tuesday, starting early morning, probably 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock until 4 or 5, I think it is. And we also have vaccination on the 7th of December, same time. We'll get the flyer out and more information out. There will be the booster, it will be for the kids, it will be the Pfizer, the Johnson. I think we are doing Moderna also. But all of the shots for any case, any situation, we will be administering them at the Northwest Austin Council, 5730 West Division.
I've had 4 shots, including the flu shot. I even got the flu shot the other day, and then none of them hurt.
Nah.
Thank God.
Man, for sure.
There you go.
So for me, I want to point out that I just reading an article on Block Club Chicago that states that when Westsiders would call 911, the officers would not show up, or the times that they show up were significantly slow. And this group, the actual Central Austin Neighborhood Association, filed lawsuit with the city in 2011 alleging that this was the case. And in 2016, they won the case, but it hasn't been until 2021 that the Chicago police will now start to track the response times of officers when they're responding to calls on the west side. So I just want to give some thank and praise to the Central Austin Neighborhood Association and the ACLU for making sure that our communities are getting what they deserve. It's a damn shame that Chicago police officers typically don't show up or show up very late, which is something that I spoke to earlier when we talked about trying to get people involved in community, especially as it relates to calling the police, and why some people probably fell out of love with either the police or just trying to get some justice or help people for whatever they were calling the police for. So something like that is huge. I see that the mayor and the rest of the city officials have not commented on it, but I do think that this is something that warrants being continued being looked at, so that we can make sure that when we are utilizing the city's emergency services, that those city services are working because they work for us, just like those individuals that we put in office. So for me, keep up the good work. Keep up the good work, Central Austin Neighborhood Association. Thank you for your efforts. For everybody, like everybody has already echoed, man, happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving. Spend time with your loved ones, like the congressman is doing. Man, if you got somebody that you're holding a grudge against, call them up and tell them, I forgot what I was grudging against you for. You know what I'm saying? This is time to be thankful for everybody that's here, man, and love on the ones that's not here as well, right? I believe in our ancestors. I believe people that passed are still here with us. We just can't see them. So 6 to 8 every Sunday, we do this thing, man. And again, you can catch us on various channels, whether that's Facebook, YouTube, or Zoom. Like, comment, subscribe when you do. You can interact with the show by comments, and we can see the comments. We can put them on the screen. In fact, I'm going to put one up as we exit out because that's the last one we just got.
Right.
Like I said, always, man, I appreciate y'all for allowing us to welcome y'all to Northwest Austin Council. They did not want to give us a seat at the table, so we had to create our own. Happy holidays.
All right. See y'all later.